So this is the Dalles Chamber Community Affairs. We meet every Thursday morning, 7 to 8. Let's do a quick round of introductions. That'll give everyone a chance to introduce ourselves to you and a later viewing audience.
Absolutely, yeah.
Any sort of events or pertinent information, we can drop it in the chat box.
Okay. I am, my laptop is having some issues this morning, so I had to jump on the phone real quick. So I don't have my presentation on my phone, so I apologize for that. And so anyway.
Okay. We can be a little flexible here.
Okay.
Let's start with Mr. Scott McKay. Good morning.
Good morning, Alex. Good morning, everyone. I think we all can empathize with those technological problems that happen. You know, you prepare and then the computer doesn't work. So I am Scott McKay. I am a community liaison for Circles of Care, and that's a nonprofit organization that matches older adults with volunteers to take care of periodic requests that they may have. Thank you, Alex.
Good morning.
Thank you, Scott. Mr. Dan Spots, how you doing? Good morning.
Good morning, Alex, everyone. Hi, Dan Spots, Columbia Gorge Community College, Community Relations and Capital Projects. We're continuing our partnership exploration with Columbia Gorge Education Service District, the school North Wasco County School District, and other community partners around establishing a public child care center in the Dalles. Trying to slowly make progress in exploring a potential location renovation of an older facility in town. So we'll keep you posted. Thank you.
Good morning.
Thank you, Dan. Scott Radford, good morning.
Good morning, Scott Radford, Columbia Gorge Food Bank, serving Wasco, Sherman, and Hood River County. We are currently in our new facility right now, and we have a ribbon cutting event slated. I don't know exact dates, and then a grand opening. So look forward to those dates being out in the community in the near future. Thank you.
Ribbon cutting April 13th. Travis Dray, good morning. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing? Good to see everybody. Travis Dray, Director of Business Development at Columbia Medical Center. I don't know if you all had a chance to read Dr. Caitlin McCarthy's op-ed in the Columbia Gorge News. It's a great physician perspective on the industry of rural healthcare, the status of rural healthcare, some of the challenges that the industry is facing, and that's MCMC is not unique to those challenges. In addition, just a quick update on our system affiliation with Adventist Health. A little bit of a curveball. The interim director with the Oregon Health Authority, who's the governing body, the state regulatory, who's overseeing the, I guess, the approval of our affiliation. The interim director resigned after 51 days. So they named a new interim director yesterday, the CFO. So we're not quite sure what that means. We're continually having our communications with the Oregon Health Authority team, the Market Oversight Watch team that we are working with. We're hoping this doesn't delay too much longer, but we're getting close to the finish line, but just an unexpected curveball that none of us anticipated, but we're just kind of roll with the punches. So I'm going to put Dr. McCarthy's piece in the chat from our website. So if you haven't read it, take a look. And once you take a look, please share it with your colleagues.
Thanks so much for the update. Mr. Rob Garrett, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Alex. How are you guys? Everyone here at the Senior Center is doing very well. We just got our new LED reader board sign. It came FedEx yesterday. It's sitting in the Deschutes room waiting to get installed. Came in an 8-foot long wooden crate made of plywood, actually. It's like the old days, you know, no cardboard. Anyway, so look to have that up on Cherry Heights and 10th Street here pretty soon. We hope to get it installed the next week or two. And that's kind of exciting news here. That's all. There's a lot of other things going on, of course, at the center, but that's the big thing right now. Thanks.
Well, that's great news. I see Matt. Is that Matt Cole? He might be on the road. We can circle back. Casey Cook, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. Doing pretty good. Don't mind the little one here. She's grabbing a snack. But I am owner of KC Business Solutions. I am mostly just kind of sitting in today, relatively new. I just started this year, but In short, I provide big solutions for small businesses, and hope to be a chamber member very soon. And I'll probably be on mute most of the time because of the kids.
Okay, no problem. Excellent. Thank you for being here. Okay, so this morning we have Beatriz Lynch with SafeSpace. Beatriz, what do we need to know? What's going on? And
Oh, well, thank you for having me. So I apologize again. I'm brought my laptop and had all intentions to do a presentation to you from home, but my laptop decided that it wasn't going to happen today. So I had to jump on my phone. So apologize for that. So thank you for having me. I think Carmen Myers is the one that introduced me to your group, and she facilitated this invitation for me to come and speak to you all. SafeSpace is a children's advocacy center for this area. And for those of you that don't know what a child advocacy center is we are the Child Abuse Assessment Center. So when there's a call of a child being hurt or a suspicion that a child's being hurt, usually the second call is to us. The first call is either to Child Protective Services or law enforcement. And then the second call is to us for us to set up an assessment. And what the assessment is we bring in the professionals, everybody who needs to know, needs information from what the child and the family and to figure out what's going on, will come to the center instead of having the child go to each of those places. So law enforcement is looking for a crime and who they can arrest. Child Protective Services is looking for how to keep the child safe. So in the days before there was a child advocacy in our area, the closest one was either Portland, Bend, or LeGrand. And when a child is hurt or is ready to talk about what's been going on, the last thing they need is to wait 2 weeks or to get on the road for 4 hours and, be there to do that. So when we opened our doors in 2009, we were very small. We started serving just Hood River County. We've expanded now. We serve 5 counties across the river as well in Klickitat County. And I'm really excited to tell you all that we just got a contract with Intertribal Police. So what that means is that we will be serving kids from the border of Multnomah County all the way out to, I think Intertribal goes all the way out to Boardman, the Umatilla area on both sides of the river. And the need is there because those in-loose sites were never meant for families to live there. But what's happened is that they are now living there. And so these are small micro communities all up and down the river, and things happen there. And so the tribal police came to us and said, when we get a report of child abuse, we want to bring them to your center, which is so great. Talk about an underserved population. So very excited to do that. So what happens at our center is that we have a forensic interviewer that is specially trained to talk to the child. They'll do the interview. The interview is recorded. All of the community partners that need to know what happened to the child are listening in on the interview in real time. And before we're done with the interviewer will excuse themselves and go out and say, did I get everything? Is there something else that I need to, explore a little bit, so we can get it all done at one time, not having to have the child go to all of these places to talk to multiple people to tell them the same thing. We work with doctors, providers that are specially trained to do the medical exams. Now, the medical exams are, we say it's a head to toe exam and it's kind of like a well child exam, but it's a lot more than that. Usually the exams take at minimum 30 minutes, but more like 45 to an hour, because the doctors are specially trained to do a very thorough head to toe. But while they're talking to the child, they're asking those questions, has anybody ever hit you in your head? Has anybody ever put anything in your mouth that you didn't like? So a lot more in depth, and they will go and ask those further questions to really get a sense of what's going on with the kiddo. We work with an advocate that will sit with the family, kind of be there throughout the whole process and becomes their contact person. So if this case proceeds to a criminal trial, the advocate will be there for the family and support them, but also do a lot of trial prep. None of us like going to court, and I can't imagine how stressful and how traumatic it would be for a child to have to sit in front of the jury and in front of the bad person that hurt them to tell their story again. So a lot of support is needed for the children. But the very, very exciting thing that's happened is that since we've opened our doors, and I have numbers for Hood River County, we've had 5 trials. Before, the district attorney will tell you she would go to trial 4 or 5 times a year, and these are multiple day trials. Not only are they expensive, monetary, but they're also they cause a lot of emotional damage, emotional trauma for the child to have to do that. So it's a pretty powerful tool that our district attorneys have when they can show a video of the child telling their own story in their own words to their clients, say, this is what you're up against. So they'll take a plea bargain. So they're being held accountable, but we're saving the child from having to go through that emotional trauma all over again. In the last about almost 2 years now, we started a capital project. And so this is what I want to talk to you all about. We are operating in rented space is about 1,500 square feet, which is not enough. When we were small and just serving one county, it was fine, but we've expanded our services. We served almost 200 kids last year. And we're expanding some of the services. We want to add the mental health portion to our assessment. That's the piece that is still missing. We refer kids out for mental health, but we really need that mental health person to be sitting around the table to complete our assessment team when we're looking at a case. So part of this capital project is not only going to find us a permanent home, but we're also going to expand those services. We want to bring the mental health person in, and we started our outreach intervention program about a year ago, which means we want to be a little bit more proactive instead of reactive. And we're partnering with the schools to help them teach about abuse. Our lane is very narrow. We are focused on child abuse. So when we go into the schools, we're focusing on child abuse. That means physical, sexual abuse, and neglect, and all the things that fall under child abuse. So we are very excited to be able to complete this project. We are almost, our goal is $5 million. We're over $3 million. We're almost there. We want to get to the finish line. We've purchased a building. We are now continuing to fundraise for the renovation of it. It's a little expensive because of the nature of our work. We need exam rooms. We need noise-proof recording rooms for the interviews. So it's taken a little bit more money to be able to do these things. We draw kids in all the way from Fossil and all the way to Cascade Locks and this whole region. My biggest thing is that our counties are too small to do this program on their own. So together, if we pool our resources, we can have the gold standard of care for child abuse victims. It's not fair that a child that gets, victimized in Tye Valley should have lesser services than the kid from Multnomah County. We can do this in our community. We can build that gold standard center for child abuse victims. So I'm going to stop talking now and see if you have any questions.
A lot of questions. This is fascinating. Are you a nonprofit organization? What's the structure, the governance structure?
Yes, we are a nonprofit. I say this for a couple of reasons. It's really important that we are a nonprofit because when families come in, we can say we are not law enforcement and we're not DHS. And so there's a lot of mistrust sometimes for our government agencies. And when we can say we are not those, this is just a service that we provide. We're fact gatherers. We're not investigators. So we are a nonprofit. We do get funding, some funding from the state of Oregon, from the Department of Justice, but it's never been the full coverage that we need. We've always been raising funds to breach that gap between the government grants and what we actually need. I should also tell you that our services are completely free. Families never ever leave without with a bill from any part of the services that we provide. We are able to bill for the medical exam, so that gives us a little bit of revenue coming back in. So.
Are you in touch with Columbia Gorge Health Council? There's an initiative there to expand the mental health capacity, counseling capacity of the region.
Yes,
good.
Yeah, we presented to them last fall, and they were very, very interested again in the mental health piece. And so they awarded us a $200,000 grant for specifically for the mental health expansion. So yes, they are very supportive of this. And, you know, I have to tell you, one of the things that we found out in doing some of the work in this area is during the last 2 years, our mental health kind of imploded in our area, especially for children. We've struggled to get kids seen with mental health providers. So the building that we purchased has 3,000 square feet that we're not using. And we're looking at that and calling it the Children's Mental Health Hub. And we want to do something to either attract mental health providers to our area. So if we come out of this project with a fully paid off building, I can offer room for therapists to do their work at a much reduced rate. So that might attract somebody. Our area is really expensive to live in. So anything we can do to attract people to come work in our area would be great. I'm also working.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I'm also reaching out to our mental health providers right now that are doing this work. Center for Living and the Next Door and One Community Health. They're all providing some sort of mental health, but we're all kind of working in silos. So I'd love to be able to bring those folks in and let's talk about where are the gaps? What can we meet so that kids don't fall through the gaps?
So we're coordinating a quarterly forum, and the first one is going to be on April 7th of all the hospital CEOs on both sides of the gorge, working with Columbia Gorge Health Council. Mental health counseling is one of the topics on the agenda that we are still developing for this inaugural session. So it sounds like a link that could be made there.
That would be fantastic.
Are you, if you'd like, do you work with Jenny at all? At
Jenny
Columbia Gorge Health?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay. Are you at liberty to say not the specific location, but in terms of the building that you're talking about, the community?
Yes. So we are in Hood River. We purchased a building on Wasco Loop. It's kind of behind the Walmart. When we started this project, because we serve the whole gorge area, we were looking, at purchasing a building, anywhere from Cascade Locks to, the Dalles or to be a little bit more centrally, probably the Dalles. But our state representative, Anna Williams, last year was the one that was able to secure $2 million for this facility. So this is her area of service. So we were not stuck, but we purchased the building in Hood River. So yeah.
The child care center that I mentioned that we're talking about, Anna Williams, Representative Williams, and at that time, Representative Bonham secured funding for us for that same purpose. Good.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions, guys? Beatrice said you have one. What is the presence like in the schools? Are you at all grade levels available?
We are. We purchased curriculum for K through 12, and we also have a curriculum for adults. It's called Darkness to Light, and I would love to train everybody on Darkness to Light because it's just such a great training for us to kind of look out for the children in our communities. So we just got started on this program, but Amanda Holste, who's doing the outreach, is in Duffer this week, and she's got a presentation at the Dalles Middle School again. She did it in the fall, and she's going to do it again in the spring. We'd love to get in all of the school districts to do this, and any agency or business. And we used to say any agency or business that works with kids, but honestly, any agency that has adults working there, anybody can take the Darkness to Light. And we all have other outside worlds. I mean, we all like coach or go to church and do Sunday school. I mean, we have contact with kids all the time, and it's just such a good training to give you some perspective of, like, if you see something, you have to say something. You don't have to be the one that investigates it and make sure that something's happening. So, and one of the things that I say is that we will see more kids. I can tell you that every time we go to the schools, we get at least 1 or 2 calls the next week, because it either triggers a kid saying, oh my gosh, this has happened to me, or I need to tell somebody about this. So we know that once we do start doing the outreach, their numbers will go up again.
And is that presence in the schools for, is that like a once a week basis, or is that you guys are visiting the schools, right?
Yes. So usually what we do is we get invited, and it's usually during like a health class when they're talking about, this already. So we come in and do a little bit more. Amanda has a great training for internet safety, and that component is fantastic. And it's going to be an added training. So it has to fit into, the school's timeline, but that training is so great because it's for children and adults. So there's a component where you go into the schools and you teach the curriculum to the kids, and then in the evening you bring in the parents and you talk to them. And that is so important to have both, because the internet safety stuff, it doesn't work if mom and dad don't know about it or don't know how to protect kids from it.
So this is Scott McKay again. Very nice presentation. You did a great job considering the circumstances and all. And I apologize, I'm going to have to leave real soon. But how do you get your referrals? Are they from individuals or Child Protective Services, or who?
Great question. So we get our referrals from law enforcement or Child Protective Services. And again, we don't initiate investigations. We're not, a law enforcement or anything like that. So the referrals come from those 2 agencies. We do get a lot of calls from the medical community more and more as we're getting more visible and out there, that they'll call and say, hey, we got this question. And so we're always happy to answer those questions and to staff a case. But if we feel like, oh yeah, you need to report this, we will tell you, okay, this is who you need to call, and these are the questions that they're going to ask you. And so hopefully in a roundabout way, we'll get that referral pretty quickly.
Are you in touch with the Columbia Gorge Education Service District?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Is that Claire? Is that who you're talking about? Claire? Right.
Pat Sublett is one I'm thinking of, but she might.
Okay.
She has a larger staff, so I'm not acquainted with all of them. It could well be.
Yeah, the school the ESD has been great to work with because they represent all the schools in our area.
Could ask another question. So when I was in Montana, I really briefly worked for the DOJ as intel, and I was a part of a training seminar that took CPS and cops and put them through the same training, and actually broke them down into groups to receive training on how to forensically interview sexually abused children. Is there training that can be provided for law enforcement and CPS?
Yes.
To recognize, okay. Yes.
Yeah, we will, we try to do it like once a year, provide like a law enforcement training, and it's like CAC 101. We talk about what our services are, but there are statewide trainings that will talk to the officers about what a forensic interview is. And some officers in some districts or jurisdictions, officers do get trained in being forensic interviewers in case they have to do an interview out in the field. We don't recommend that. That's not the best practice because, there's so many variables out there that they can't be controlled with, where we can control those in our center. But yes. So a long answer to your question. Yes, we do. There are trainings for that.
Good.
I hate to keep on jumping with questions, but it's a big topic. It's such an important topic. What about training for parents and internet safety? Just Going back a number of years, we had a close call with one of our kids and some dude from Texas, and Wasco County Sheriff's Office was very, very helpful many years ago. But boy, that's a dangerous jungle out there.
It is crazy. Yes, we do. We offer that training. It's again, it takes some commitment because it's not just for children. You have to get the parents involved, the adults, the caregivers involved.
Yeah.
We offer those trainings. Right now, we're working through the schools to be able to offer that. In our new building, we'll have space that we may just do like a once a month. We're going to have this training, advertise it, and see who shows up. And hopefully we'll get some interest in it. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I am so grateful my kids are not young anymore because they run circles around us. I'll give you an example. During the pandemic, oh my gosh, the pandemic really did a number on our kids, you guys. Our kids are hurting. But they handed out tablets to all the kids, and I know that those schools worked really hard to put those protections in place. Kids got around them so easily, and we're seeing kids 8, 9 years old that I have some addiction to porn. And the sad thing about it is that they're so young. A young child can't process what he's seeing. It's just really hard, and the damage they're causing for those relationships and those social skills is just it's a mess right now. And I have to tell you, our kids are hurting.
Any other trends that you'd be comfortable or at liberty to speak to in our area?
Yes, we had a lot of kid-on-kid abuse. So I think we're coming a little bit out of that. But during like last year and the year before, where there was still so much kids staying home and doing school online, parents had to go to work. And so a lot of kids were being left alone with older kids. So we saw, for a while there, we were seeing all these 14-year-old girls that were having sex with older boys, still teenagers though, under the age of 18. But it was just like at 14 years old, you're too young to understand what you're doing. And so there was a lot of that going on. And a lot of, they came to us because it was more than just consensual sex. It was more of a power differential and some stuff going on. So we're seeing that. One of the scary trends is that when kids were at home and they were away from those mandatory reporter people, the teachers and folks like that, instead of getting those calls from the schools, they were coming from the ER with kids having broken bones and that kind of stuff. Thankfully, we didn't see that much here, but I know my colleagues on the I-5 corridor, that's where they were getting their calls. I mean, kids with broken bones and severe injuries. And that was a trend that was really, really scary. Governor Brown talked about the domestic violence calls that went through the roof during the pandemic. I was disappointed that she didn't also mention that child abuse. Most of those domestic violence incidents, there's also children in the home. And even if they weren't the targets of the abuse, we all know that just being in that home with domestic violence is just as harmful. So those are some of the trends that we're seeing. And mental health, just kids so depressed. And that's why we can't build the center fast enough and get mental health providers in, because we've got so many kids that are just depressed and anxiety levels. And I don't know, this is a trend that's been going up, but I think it accelerated in the last couple of years.
Are you in contact with, you think, with the county?
Yes, Yes, I have presented to the county commissioners. I presented to the Dalles City Council a few weeks ago. Same thing for Clickitat County, and then also in Hood River County. So I'm really excited to be talking to you all. One of the things that is happening is that I've got a couple of grants out, big foundational grants for finishing up this project. And what they want to see is commitment from my community. They want to know that our community supports this center and the work that we do. And so they're looking to see, okay, you serve all these counties, do they all support you? So I would love to get some commitment and some support from Wasco County. In Wasco County, actually, we see 60% of the kids that we see in Hood River are from Wasco County. So this is a big area for us of service. And that's why in our big ultimate goal is to be able to have a satellite office in the Dalles.
Approach I'm not, you mentioned county commission, but I didn't hear whether have you been before the Wasco County Commission?
I haven't this year, but I'm going to get on their schedule in the next couple of months. So, but I did,
Okay,
I did meet with them early in the stages of this campaign.
Okay. When you mention an office in the Dalles or a location in the Dalles, I'd like to keep in touch with you about that. We're looking at it's about a 34,000 square foot space.
Wow.
It's a big project and we still got a gap to go of our own.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at probably $15 million on this total project. And we're maybe 2/3 of the way there at best. So, but it could be a cooperative space, maybe.
That would be fantastic. I'm kind of waiting from MCMC to kind of settle their transition. But that's who I was kind of looking to see if we could, we need 3 rooms, and if we could partner with somebody to give us that space or rent it at its, affordable rate, I would love to do that. So we would take our team out there instead of having the families all come out here.
In your conversations with DSD, let's keep that on the radar, because we're working with DSD also.
All right. Yeah, I'd love to connect with you. If you ever are in town, I'd love to give you a tour of our current center and then also the new building and show you the plans that we've got going on. So I'd do that for anybody. I'd love to show you.
Thank you.
So I guess if there's no more questions, I want to just ask any of you if there's people that I should be talking to. If you can make those connections or you can give me some referrals. Have you talked to this person that might be interested? So I'm in the process of just having these meetings and these conversations. And of course, I'm also, raising money. So any donations, any support that I can get from folks that you may know that I may not be aware of, I would love those connections.
Okay. Beatrice, are you able to use the chat box and type out your email for us to copy paste?
Let me see if I can do it on my phone.
If not, I'll see if we have it somewhere in our chamber docs.
Here we go.
And you did mention community support. How can we help you guys? How can we support you guys transition?
So I think what I need is again those contacts, and I think I misspelled it. It's ORG, not IRG. Sorry about that.
Gotcha.
So the support that I'm looking for is, again, monetary support or a pledge for that, and connections. I haven't worked in Wasco County in a long time, so I'm not sure who the players are or who are the folks that are able to donate to this project. So I would love some connections to other folks, other agencies that would be interested in this project. Any grants that I'm not aware of, please just send them my way. I would love to end up this project with a fully paid off building that I wouldn't have to take resources from the program to finish the project. So.
Okay, excellent. Well, are there any other last second questions? If not, is there anything else that you want our audience to hear about?
No, just thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you. And if you want a tour, just get a hold of me and I would love to give you a tour of our existing space and our new building, and then, answer any other questions that you have. I think this is just really important work that we're doing. And the fact that none of you know who we are is great, because that means you've never had to use our services. But then again, you don't know that this is a service that we provide for the kids.
Excellent.
Beatrice, I'll send you an email. If you have any additional information, a website or a project summary, anything like that, that you may, I'll CC ESD so that we can kind of close the loop on that.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Any of you, I have all of the material presentation that I just did in a digital format, so I can send that to you. And I apologize for not having that today.
Good
Yeah.
work with the flow on the technology side. We've all had that happen, and you got it down. You for not having access to your slides. Good work.
Oh my God, it makes you sweat, like when things don't work. So
Feel free to send the chamber the slides. Also, we can help distribute.
okay, I will.
Perfect. All right, guys. Well, I'm looking at 7:37. Fairly early adjournment. Let's reclaim the rest of the hour. Any questions you have, Beatrice's email. Thank you so much for being here.
Yep. Thank you.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.